So it's not looking too good for Resident Evil Village, and this is because it has still not been announced for Xbox One and PS4 last gen consoles. Now, if you might be thinking, that's a good thing. They're getting rid of like the old consoles, they're bringing it to all the new platforms. Now, I would normally agree with you on this, but the fact that the new consoles have only just come out, and the fact that they are literally impossible to get right now unless you pay like all these scalpers an absurd amount of money, which I've made a video on, and I'll leave a link down in the description down below or up in the top right if you want to click on that. Anyway, they have not announced it for PS4 and Xbox One yet, but they have announced that it's coming to PC, PS5, Xbox Series X and S. But again, no news on what's happening with the PS4 and Xbox One. So a lot of people are thinking that they are going to be leaving out the PS4 and Xbox One. But obviously, again, that's going to be a really bad idea because there's still millions of people on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One who can't afford to upgrade, or they're not ready to upgrade yet. They don't see the point in upgrading. Like me personally, I don't see the point in upgrading just yet, and I've made my video about why I think that in a previous one. So again, I'll leave that linked. But again, there's people like me and and then there's other people who can't afford to upgrade at this current time, which obviously is understandable with the pandemic going on. A lot of people are losing jobs and losing money, and they don't have as much as they normally would each year. So, with all of that in mind, I think if they don't release it on the old gen consoles, then it's going to be a bit of a fuck you to a lot of the consumers who have loved this franchise. But at the same time, it's going to give more people an incentive to want to buy the new consoles, which again would be a really good business move in terms of getting people to go to the new console. And if they've signed a deal with like Sony or Microsoft in terms of only having it exclusive to their next gen consoles rather than their previous consoles, it could work better in their favor. But at the same time, I still think they could make a lot more money if it was still released on the PS4 and Xbox One, just because there's so many more people who are probably still on the old consoles than the new consoles. So there is a bigger demand over there for them to make more money. So it would make sense for them to release it on all. A few people are saying that it could be because of like the new games that they're bringing out, the graphics and design that they want to bring into the game is only really supported by the new Xbox and the new PlayStation. So like the old consoles wouldn't be able to run it in a nice enough quality or anything because it would be a port from the next gen to the old gen, which again I could see possibly being the case because obviously these games do look nice when they come out. Like these Resident Evil games, they look so nice when they come out. I remember playing Biohazard. That was so much fun, and that game looked really good at the time, in my opinion. So I can see why maybe that would be the case. But again, it's still better for them if they release it on the old console. But at the same time, no one wants to play a crappy version of a game. I mean, look what they did when they brought out Black Ops 3. They brought a Xbox 360 port of Black Ops 3 to the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, I believe. And my friend actually ended up buying the 360 version of Black Ops 3. And I went around his house to play it, just see what it'd be like, because I thought it'd be quite funny and interesting. It was awful. The quality of it looked like Minecraft texture packs. It was terrible. Like, I couldn't even explain how bad it was. It was almost unplayable. It was hurting my eyes. I wanted to rub my eyes out with bleach after seeing it. So obviously that would be a downside. And if a game like Resident Evil that's supposed to look nice, it's supposed to look crispy, it's supposed to look good and be intense, horrifying, then it's not going to do that job if it's backported and it looks like shit. So I can completely understand why if that is the case. However, it just is a bit of a sore thumb to everyone who still has the old consoles and doesn't want to upgrade yet or can't upgrade because they can't get a console from these scumbags who are just, buying and reselling. Although they are kind of coming to a stop on this buying and reselling stuff with the new consoles. They're managing to limit it a bit more, and with new rules in the UK, which I'm also making a video about. I think it's by the time you watch this, it'll probably already be out. It will probably come out on Monday, and this will be dropping on Friday. So you can just go back and check that one. But they're bringing in new things to stop people from being able to do this, which is a great move. But obviously I talked about the pros and cons of it in that video. Again, there's just still no news on it, and at this point, I think it's seemingly unlikely that we are going to hear anything about old gen consoles for it, just because of how, like I was saying, like the game is probably made to be a next gen game, not an old gen game. Bear in mind with the new power and the new abilities and capabilities of the new consoles, it's probably built in mined for those consoles, not for the previous consoles. And I think they know by if they tried to backport it, it wouldn't look as good, or it wouldn't feel as good, and then they would get a lot of complaints about that. And realistically, there's no point in harming their brand if they can make a perfect game on a new gen console, although it is a bit shit for anyone who's still on previous consoles. So what do you guys think about this down in the comment section down below? Do you think they'll end up bringing it out for previous gen consoles, or do you reckon it's going to be an exclusive for next gen only? I'd love to know what you guys are thinking. If you have enjoyed the video, please leave a like, and if you are new, subscribe to the channel, it would mean a lot, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Yeah, they love to see you at your worst. Stick the knife in where it hurts. Fuck them all, I know my worth. I'm cashing in for that purse. I spent years in that dirt. Now I'm taking chances, I'm building my own church. They can't take away what you've been going through for years. But I'm back in this bitch, overcoming these fears. No hip hooray out here, no cheers. That's fine, I got 6 figures and I made it all with my peers. Never